I don't know if other people acknowledge like breakups as a heartbreak, but I definitely think it is. Like, I don't, well, maybe it's because I haven't been in love before, but any other guy that I've spoken to and just there's problems, I don't care, like, whatever. But when it comes to my friends, like, I hold those people dear to me. So to have to move on can be really difficult. I feel like everybody feels emotions. It's just who's going to be honest about it. And I'm now realizing, or I'm now experiencing, how when your consciousness is raising, you cannot take everyone with you, and you inevitably can't be friends with the people that you were initially friends with. I've always been a conscious person, but I think in order to keep people around me and have a community, I would almost deny that part of myself and deny what I needed in friendships in order to just have people around me. And even while being in those friendships, I was feeling dissatisfied, lonely, misunderstood. So it's almost like being alone anyway. And it's only this year that I've really had the courage to vocalize this to people that I have been friends with and just basically say that I'm moving on, because I recognize until you fully let go of the people who are sitting beside you, God cannot place new people next to you. As you're changing, your environment has to change, your friends have to change, what you do has to change. But then when it's changing, it is painful. So I will never sit here and pretend like I'm someone who, I don't give a fuck and like I can just drop friends. I find it really difficult to let go of people, and because if you're my friend, I truly deeply care about you, but it's also not fair on myself to not be met where I want to be met. I've had a lack of reciprocity in my friendships for years, and realizing that, taking accountability for that is really tough, but it also leaves room for me to know what I expect in new friendships that do come into my life, and to be more discerning and not so desperate, and just know that, like, regardless of everything, I'm going to be okay. So I don't have to beg people for friendship. I don't have to stay. It's like we focus so much on the type of man we should be talking to and expectations of men, but I think friendship expectations have to be spoken about too, or I will speak about them for myself. I had this conversation with my sister, and she was like, do you know what, like, you're doing what a lot of people are having to realize in their 50s. Like, most people are lonely. A lot of us are around people, but you're not really around people. You're not really speaking your truth. You're not really feeling held, seen, understood, appreciated, valued, or like uplifted. I was looking around my circles and I wasn't feeling inspired. I wasn't even feeling appreciated. So, and this is not even like, I don't even feel like the people I'm talking about actually watch my videos, so I don't know. But if you do, this is not a dig at you personally. It's about the fact that we all have to be around people who can meet us where we are. There's no better way to say it. Like, vibrationally, there's so many things that I've cut out of my life, like alcohol and toxic men and going to parties just to go to parties and being in certain environments. So when some people continue to indulge in that, vibrationally it's just not a match, and it's unfair for me to put myself through those things just to be around people, which is what I realized, and why I was like, well, this is a tough decision, but I'm gonna have to go in it alone until I find people that match my vibration. And that, I think that's what was upsetting me the most. But then I realized, when I spoke about this with my sisters, they said, well, at least we have each other, because there's some people who don't have siblings. I don't know how they navigate life. This goes beyond friendships. This is just people I want to connect with, because the people that I want to be around the most is just my immediate family. It's literally my siblings, my mom, my grandma, my aunt, and it kind of stops there. Everything else is like not vibrationally a match. So I'll always be thankful for my siblings, because I don't know how some people get through stuff without siblings, especially when your friendships are shaky. It's like we always ask for growth, and then when it comes, we're like, no, can I take this person? Can I take that person? It's like, no, you cannot. And the more we cling on to the past, we're just not even getting to experience the future. I'm going to look back on this time and in like months to come and be like, I was clinging on to this and that, but here I've met so-and-so and this person, and I don't even have to, have conversations about what I expect in our friendships. They just know, and they just get me. It's been a while since I've had people outside of my family who get me it's lovingly releasing people. I don't look back on friends that I no longer talk to. I don't demonize them. And I'm not the type to delete photos, numbers, all of that. I don't do stuff like that because I'm not gonna pretend that era of my life didn't happen, that you weren't a big part of it. But I will just lovingly release and allow both of us to move on so we can both prosper and I can actually get what I need. But more on the point of being like spiritual and having friendships, I realize now on this journey there's no like middle ground. It's either positive or negative, and anything that is like neutral falls into the negative category, I believe. So being around people who are around people that I don't align with, the energy transfers. You need people who are in alignment with what you are doing, and who, I feel like when somebody comes to mind, I should know straight away whether or not they're in alignment with me. And if I'm kind of shaky about it, that means they're not. And that doesn't mean what they're doing is wrong. It just means it's not right for me. You know, you might be seeing your friends online and you're just like, oh, maybe I should be there. But I'm kind of like, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be at that party. You don't want to be around those people. Missing someone or missing things that you used to do with someone doesn't mean that you should do them again. It's just you acknowledging that you had fun at that time. And sometimes evolution is hard, but it doesn't mean me now seeing a friend that I used to talk to like go on holiday or be out somewhere, and I'm kind of like, you look at it longingly. It doesn't mean I should be there. It just shows me that the friendship was real, and it did serve me at the time. That's one thing I have to make clear. It's not to say I've just from the jump I never liked you. There was a reason I was friends with these people. But that's where the saying a season, a reason, and a lifetime comes in, and everyone hopes that their friendship will be the lifetime one, but a lot of the time it's just a season. And so I think when you honor that and you acknowledge that and you're just honest about it, it's better than pretending that you can take these people along with you on the journey. And the people I most respect are the ones, like I have a friend that I used to be close to, and I saw her probably about 2 months ago, and we had a conversation for like 30 minutes. And I just loved the fact that she was like, I see that you're on your path and I'm on my path. And she didn't try and be like, let's get together and do this. Like, we know that our lives are completely different. And so her being authentic in that way, in being happy that we saw each other and sharing that moment and the moments we've shared in the past, and then just us going about our day, is what I really appreciated, because I don't like feeling like I need to force something or recreate things from the past. Like, they're in the past for a reason. We don't need to recreate old memories. We need to create new memories with new people. And yeah, that's also another reason I delete friends off like social media and stuff like that. I'd rather have the open conversation about where we are in our friendship. And therefore, like, if I see you post and stuff, I'll be like, oh, that's nice, look what so and so is doing, instead of like, ugh, we used to be friends. I'm not that type, because if I cared about you at one point, I'm not going to start to slander your name now. So it's just that balance there. Losing friends is not inherently bad. It's just a sign of growth. Sometimes I wonder, I do look at people, like, if your only friendship group is people that you used to speak to from like primary school or even secondary school, I do see a reflection in their life of how limited it can be, to be honest. How far can you truly push yourself and excel to high heights if you are like close knit with people who met you when you were 11? I mean, if you want the same life that you had when you were 11, I get it. But now I kind of understand where it's like, you've got to have different friends for different seasons of your lifetimes, or you've got to, like, even if you still talk to people, there has to be an increased proximity, because to have that as your core group, no wonder people's lives don't change. Like, you literally talk to the same people you knew when you were 12. Now you're 24. So in that way, I see it as like a benefit, and I understand why it has to happen. And I'm not fully mad at it. Sometimes I might get upset or I might get sad, but it's never enough for me to like go back to old friendships. I can love those people and lovingly leave them in the past.